You don't need more motivation, you do not need more caffeine, you just need a good night's sleep. Hear me out on this one. Sleep is the most important habit that has the most profound effects in your life, more than training, more than working out, more than good nutrition, more than supplements. And I know this because I used to have horrific sleep. I used to only get 5 hours of sleep, probably less. I used to go to bed really late. I used to have to get up really early. My sleep was awful. I thought I was lazy. I thought I was anxious. I thought I was demotivated and not able to perform. But I'm here to tell you, sleep is the solution that you've not yet implemented. I can hands down say that sleep has changed my life. And I very much think I can hands down say that sleep has changed my life. So, what are all the benefits? And there's a lot from getting good sleep. And how do you start getting good fucking sleep? So, first off, energy and performance. The days that you have a bad night's sleep, you feel it in the gym. You feel that your endurance is worse. You feel that your weights don't move as easy. Your training output decreases. So instead of rattling pre-workout, if you get 8 hours of sleep, you're going to train better. I'm training legs today, and I've made sure that I got a wee bit more than 8 hours sleep so that I know I'm going to rock this workout when it comes around. It's such an important factor for training. The next one is hunger and cravings. When I get a bad night's sleep, my cravings for junk food is horrific. And that's due to an imbalance of ghrelin, which is like a hunger hormone. It's the hormone that when you're starving, like properly starving, like in a desert somewhere you're not eating, is the hunger, is the hormone that says you need to eat or you're gonna die, plus leptin. This equals hunger that you can't control. It's just a hunger that's like fucking always there. It's constantly making you think about food. You're sitting, you want a snack, and it's not good. When you get a good night's sleep, you then get cravings that go down. You want to eat better food. You want to make sure that you're feeling your body right, and you just don't have that like constant thought of I need a snack on stuff. The next one is discipline and willpower. The way that I say this works. With a good night's sleep, everything seems possible. With a bad night's sleep, everything seems like a monumental task. You know when you first wake up in the morning and you're like, shit, I'm tired. Fuck, I'm tired. You'll say that to yourself about 50 times. That will then reflect in everything you do. Your work output, you'll be like, oh, I just need to take it easy. I just need to get through this. Oh, I might not work out. Oh, it's going to be a crap workout. Like you just have that like undertone of negativity in your mind because you're like, oh, I feel shit today. It's not in me today. You say these things to yourself. And if you say those things to yourself, you believe it. But when you get a good night's sleep, and then you wake up in the morning, you feel the call of life. You feel energized. You feel ready to go. You feel like no matter what life throws at you today, you can go and fucking tackle it. But when you have a bad night's sleep, it's like, oh, another thing to deal with. So it's like your willpower is a finite resource. And sleep recharges that. Sleep recharges your willpower. It makes following a plan easier. It makes saying no to temptation easier. It keeps you sharp and on the ball for your plan. So sleep is a hack for discipline because it's also a hack for excuses. Because if you've had a bad night's sleep or you're tired, it is like the first excuse you will use. Mood and motivation is next. I am a grumpy arsehole when I'm tired. It's true. Like I try not to be. I'm pretty level all the time. Like I don't really have highs or lows or whatever. But when I get a bad night's sleep, it's like I just go to that like slightly darker place. I'm slightly more anxious. Like, shit, I've got that to do, and you're kind of like thinking about everything that you need to do. You just are kind of like in a worse mood for everything. That then has like impact on like your how you talk, your energy, your relationships, how you show up to things. Like I can't go onto a camera like this and speak to you guys if I'm grumpy because I've got a bad night's sleep. So better sleep equals less stress, equals less anxiety. You know, for a time, like I suffered so badly with anxiety that like I'd bite down on my teeth and hurt my jaw. I would be like, I got bulimic at a point, so like my anxiety was spiking, I would throw up. Not that I was making myself sick, that it was just like an internal response was throwing up. And that correlated with the exact time that my sleep was at its poorest. So although I do think there's several reasons that my anxiety was high, I do think my sleep was a massive factor in that. So if you get a better night's sleep, you're more positive, and you're more likely to do things that are harder. Like train legs for me today, for example. Like, sometimes it's not enjoyable, but when you've got a good night's sleep, you can do it. You absolutely can. If you've got hard work to do, you're like, right, fuck it, let's go, let's get this work done, let's smash this. But when you're not, you just kind of feel a wee bit drained, right? And then, that's the most important one, with fitness related, building muscle and recovery. Sleep is the most important thing for you building muscle, for you recovering, because this is when your hormones spike in deep sleep. This is when you recover from your workouts. This is when you actually grow the majority of your muscle. Fun fact, it's also when you lose the majority amount of your weight if you're trying to cut. So trying to sleep more is massive. You've obviously got like, you sleep more, you can train harder as I said, but you sleep more, you recover better, you get more gains from that. I would love to see a version of me that got good sleep my entire life and see what my physique looks like versus the version of me that I lived where for years I had bad sleep. Like, would that other version of me that got good sleep be bigger? Would it be more defined? Would it have a wee bit more muscle? Probably would. So if you've got no sleep, then poor sleep, poor workout, poor recovery, that's just a bad equation for trying to make fitness progress. We're trying to change your physique. The next one that I very, very much feel is like the mental clarity, clear thinking. Now I see this in two fronts. I'm more creative when I sleep. I'm more productive when I sleep. I have deeper levels of thoughts when I get good sleep. When I get bad sleep, my word recall is really, really poor. I always say, oh, what's that word? Oh, what's the name of that guy? Oh, what's the name of that thing? I always struggle trying to like catch that word. It's like on the tip of my tongue. I just can't get it out. And like that for me, I struggle with when I sleep. It's probably a wee bit to do with my dyslexia as well, but those two combining, I struggle to like speak, and I have to like speak on a slightly dumber level than I would like to, simply because I can't recall it from my brain. So word recall is something that's like big for me when I'm speaking to clients, when I'm on calls, or when I'm filming things like this. So if you get better sleep, you think faster, you're sharper, you're just more dialed into what it is you are doing. There is so many downstream effects to getting a good night's sleep, like an unbelievable amount. If you have more energy, you're more likely to put it into your work, to put it into things that you're focusing on, to put it into your goals, what it is you want to achieve. If you're tired and lethargic, you're like, oh, I'll just scroll on my phone for the next hour. If you have more energy, you're more likely to do things after work. You're more likely to go a walk, to go a hill walk, to see your mates, to do all these things. But if you're not, you're more likely to turn on Netflix or start gaming. So there's an unbelievable amount of positive effect. I would love to see the correlation between lack of sleep and screen time. There was a study that came out a couple of months ago from America that showed Americans So we can probably assume that if it applies to us too, that if Americans are doing it, we're probably also doing it, that they were on their phones for a larger amount of the day than they were sleeping. So I believe it was 8 hours of phone time a day, which is absolutely absurd, but the majority of them were only sleeping for 6. And that was a big group that they took that data from. So simply, getting a good night's sleep means that you spend less time on your phone, spend less time scrolling. You can put that time to other use. You can put that time to building the life that you want to live. And that's very much what I've done. Because I very much thought that I was lazy, struggled to get out of bed, felt crap, felt moody all the time, was eating random shit, junk food all day. I just thought I had poor habits. And for sure I did have some poor habits, but the majority of it was bad sleep. So, how do you fix your sleep? Well, first one is caffeine. No caffeine after 2 p.m. I once had a client, we finished a workout at like 7 or 8 p.m. at night after a personal training session, and he went to go grab a Monster out of the fridge in the gym. And I went, well, what are you doing? And he went, oh, I just want some energy for getting home. And I was like, well, do you want to sleep tonight? You know, caffeine has a half-life of 12 hours. And he went, no, what do you mean? I was like, well, if you drink that caffeine right now, it's going to stay in your system for 12 hours. So if a Monster energy drink has 160 milligrams of caffeine, 12 hours later, there's half of that still rattling around your brain, keeping you awake, disturbing your sleep. So that was a realization for him, realization for many people. Caffeine has a 12-hour half-life, and that's going to play some havoc if you're drinking it later on in the day. The next one is no screens an hour before bed. Now, that blue light keeps you awake, keeps your brain active, and stops the production of the sleep hormone. So trying to limit screen time, and the way I suggest doing this is start by limiting it to half an hour before bed. Half an hour usually gives you enough time to do your bedtime routine, to lay out your clothes for the morning, to eat the last meal, whatever, to wash your face, brush your teeth, and then go to bed, right? Try and work up to an hour over time, but an hour is sometimes hard for people because they use the TV to de-stress after a long day's work. So you kind of need to work up to it and work on it. Make sure you're going to sleep at the same time every day and waking up at the same time every day. If it comes to the weekend, just offset it. So say you go to bed at 9, weekdays, go to bed at 10, at the latest 11. You're just moving everything back by an hour or two. Same in the mornings. You wake up at 6, or maybe wake up at 8 at the weekends. And you know when you sleep at the weekends and you sleep for maybe 9 or 10 hours, and you're actually more tired than when you only sleep for 5 or 6. It's because your sleep timing's off, your circadian rhythm's off. It really throws you off. So it's really important you get your circadian rhythm in the same time, and that's really when you build up that perfect timing, so that you wake up every day without the alarm. You wake up just on the alarm before it goes off. Most people have never experienced that, but when you are so dialed in, that's when you're seeing good signs that what you're doing is correct. Another thing is have a cold room. That benefits under 16 degrees. That's a good thing, or around 16 degrees I think is the ideal temperature. Making sure you've got blackout curtains, making sure it's total darkness. If you need to wear an eye mask, do that. I've had to wear eye mask and earplugs before so that I get a good night's sleep. You got to do what you got to do. And then another supplement that can really help, or another thing that can really help, is a supplement called magnesium. Magnesium can help you get a good night's sleep. So sleeping is definitely a thing that helps you unlock the version of yourself that you want to be, a whole new version of yourself, by just simply implementing one good habit. One good sleep habit can then mean you do your workout, can mean you eat the right food, can mean you stop eating junk food, can mean that you show up, you're more energetic, you're less moody, you're nicer to be around because you've got more time and you're spending it, and you're being more efficient, you're spending it on less crap, you can do more things. There's so many benefits to getting a good night's sleep. It is almost unbelievable. So if you're struggling right now with energy, you're trying to lose fat, or you're trying to stay disciplined, or you're trying to get motivated, get a good night's sleep. Just rest harder. It's as simple as that. It's definitely helped me. It's helped my clients. It's one of the first things I do with my clients is like, right, what's your sleeping like? When are you going to bed? When are you waking up? What's your sleep habits? So, have a phenomenal day. Make sure you're fixing your sleep for all these benefits, plus a bunch more. Thanks for watching.